Just a quick note about the gospel that, of course, Mark is writing to the Romans, and so he's making sure that they understand a little bit about Jewish custom, which is also good for us, about where he says about all the things that the Jews do in terms of purifying things, and then also explaining what korban means, meaning dedicated to God. And what Jesus is complaining about is not the fact that someone would dedicate their things to Almighty God, but rather it's saying that I am giving part of my sustenance to the temple, which is great, but then the rest then I don't have to do anything with except for myself. And so it's actually supporting greed. So it's not actually that it's like, well, he's giving everything to God instead of helping his parents and stuff. No, he's giving something to God so that they can get something, and then the person can, in greed, keep all the rest of the stuff without having to give to his parents. And so he's saying, wait, the weightier things are mercy and compassion and love and care. So just a note on that. In the first reading, we finished up this first story of the creation. Yesterday we heard the first 4 days. Now we hear day 5 and 6, and then with 7 the day that he rested. And a couple things struck me with this. One is, of course, that when you look at the cosmos, when you look at the way that the earth moves, the way the earth spins and the moon and going around the sun and everything, we can tell how long a day is, a month, a year. But a week, there's nothing in the cosmos that speaks to the week. The week, the Sabbath, is from Almighty God, by decree of Almighty God. On the 7th day he rested. During the French Revolution, they toyed with a 10-day work week because they wanted to get away from this 7-day week which was so religious, and they wanted to break from everything religious, and so they did a 10-day week. And nobody liked it. So they eventually, that fell apart eventually. But we look and we see this gift of Almighty God of the Sabbath. It isn't just from the cosmos, but it isn't arbitrary. It is gift from God to take this time to worship Him, to rest from our other pursuits, to dedicate this day to God. It doesn't mean you don't do other things, but that we dedicate this day to God, coming to worship. That was one of the pieces. The other piece is, how when you have a certain association with certain words, that word then pops up everywhere and you notice where it is. Sometimes they're very silly words. But like, as I became installed as dean, of course now my title no longer is Reverend Father Volney DeRosa, but now it's Very Reverend Father Volney DeRosa. And so that very, I joke with my priest friends that very, it's so important, that very. And of course the bishop started his thing by saying, you may be very, but I'm most, because he's most reverend and all this stuff. But so that word very pops up, and it popped up in today's first reading, right? God goes along and he makes something, it's good. He makes something, it's good. He makes something, it's good. Then he makes humanity. Let us make them in our image and likeness. Male and female, he created them. And then he looks at everything he has made, and it is only then that he found it very good. Everything he makes is good, but when he makes man, the pinnacle of creation, it's very good. Very good. And a lot of times we don't see that in ourselves. Our world is trying to say, oh no, humanity is bad for the world. We are like a virus, and so we're going to kill the earth and all these things. And by our sin, of course, we need to look at all these things. But humanity is not bad. This whole movement of saying, well, we got to slim down the population, keep population growth because we're going to have this problem with resources and everything. Well, no, God made plenty for the earth. We're very good. Again, it doesn't mean that we don't have to look at our waste and how we use the resources and our stewards, but still, the problem isn't humanity, the problem is sin. And so the Lord looks on us and sees we're very good. He looks at you and he sees and he says, very good. He created humanity. In fact, the Jews, as they were making this, as they were writing this book of Genesis, they were building up an image of the temple. This image of the whole of creation is a temple of worship to Almighty God. And in fact, when you look at how it's described with the building of the temple, you see all these different things in different places. That this was a sign that the whole of creation is made as a place to worship Almighty God. And who is the priest in this temple? Why, humanity. We are called. We were made the high priest of all creation to be able to offer to God a sacrifice of praise. That He's calling us into this intimate relationship with Him. That's why He made us in His image and likeness. We're unlike all the other creatures of the earth. We're even unlike the angels. The angels have no bodies. The animals have no rational souls. We have both soul, rational soul, and body. We are united in that we are made somehow in God's image and likeness. And He says, this is very good. Calling us into that intimacy, divine union. And when we come before Almighty God in the Blessed Sacrament, when we come to receive Him, of course, as ministerial priest, I'm the one that offers bread and wine that become the very body and blood of Christ. But all of us are called in this sacrifice to offer something of ourselves. That's why I say, pray, brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice, which is the sacrifice of Almighty God, of Jesus to the Father, which is the ministerial priesthood, and yours, my sacrifice and yours, that we are offering something of ourselves to Almighty God, saying, I am giving you myself as I receive this communion, as I receive you and you give yourself to me. May we come to a greater understanding of what it means that we are made in His image and likeness, that we are priests in the creation, and that we are very good.